Hello and welcome to Needful Things Again. Today we're going to work on another little hat project. Everybody loves to make hats. It's so much fun. It's quick and they make great gifts. So I'm working on one using the pattern. I have a video for my new stitch, the Slip Stitch Purl. You can look up the video and learn the stitch. That's what I'm using for this hat. So I will get you started. It's just so hard to stop. I love to do this stitch. It's so much fun. Okay, so let me put that one to the side. We have some yarn here. So we're going to make a hat with the really easy pattern that I like to use. Quite often I do use other patterns, but usually I don't use patterns for hats. So we're going to start by making a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I have to get a stitch marker. Get your stitch marker. So we'll get a stitch marker. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In that 10th chain, we're going to put our stitch marker. And then we're just going to do 30 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What are you doing? What are you doing? See out now? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I had to leave. The dog was trying to get through the blinds. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So I have like 30 chains there. Okay, so we're going to put on our slip stitch. Go into that first chain. Pull through a loop. Hold on to those stitches. Pull that loop through those first two. Put your slip stitch on. Go down to the next stitch. Pull up a loop, pull it through those two. We're doing our slip stitch purl. Okay, slip stitch, purl. The first ones are a little just like the learning piece swatch. You gotta pinch it a little bit. And you'll just do your slip stitch purl all the way till you get to your stitch marker where you put your stitch marker. Okay. I keep wanting to do the regular purl stitch. That's how much like it feels to me. foundation row always takes a little bit longer. So you'll just keep doing that. Slip, stitch, purl all the way till you get to this marker here. Okay. You'll have 10 stitches on this end. So you'll do this 30 all the way to your marker, and then I'll meet you here when you get to your 10 stitches there. I already have a piece through the magic of YouTube. So I'm going to put my hook back in my piece I was working on because I'm only on the second row, third row I think, third row. So my marker's here. And we're just going to work down to the same place that you're working towards. Slip stitch, pull that purl through, slip stitch, pull that loop through. Okay, we're doing our slip stitch purl on down the line. Our slip stitch, grab that loop, whoops, okay, so now we're to our slip stitches on the bottom. So we're just going to slip stitch in our 10 stitches. Here you see we have our 10 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 right there. So we're simply going to go in the back loops of those slip stitches and just do a slip stitch. 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Chain 1, turn your work, and you'll go right back down this 10 slip stitches, doing 10 more slip stitches. Don't forget, don't skip the first one. We did our chain right there. There are slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. That's 10. I'll take my marker and put it in that 10th slip stitch, because now we're going to go back into our slip stitch purls. Put our slip stitch, Go through that first stitch there, pull up your loop, pull it through those two. Slip stitch, go through the top of the stitch, pull the loop through, pull it through those two. We're going to do this all the way down our 30 stitches. We're going to do the slip stitch purl. Pull that through, pick up our loop, slip stitch, go through, pick up our loop, slip stitch, go through the next stitch, pick up our loop, pull it through the two loops, and we're going to do this all the way down, and we're going to do this until we have about, I like to do about 16 inches, and if that's not big enough, then I'll do like 18, but usually 16 is about large enough, and especially with this because it'll have a lot of stretch that way. It's got a lot of stretch, so do about 18 inches across your row. So you'll have like 18 inches this way. Well, not 18, but like 16 inches, yeah, like about 16. So we're going to do like 16 inches. Yeah, so about 16 inches. Because then when we fold that up, that's about 8 inches. And with the stretch, that will fit most any adult head. And maybe a child, if you have a child with a big head. So just keep doing your stitches until you've got your 18, I keep saying 18, sorry. Till you have about 16 rows wide, however many rows that is, I'm not sure. I'm not counting the rows. There's no need to count rows. You can just measure your head and make it that wide if you want to. So I'll check back with you when we get back to our rows and show you what we're going to do next. I will check in immediately just to show you what mine's looking like so you can see what yours is supposed to look like. Alright, so I'll check back in with you soon. Thank you. Hello, welcome back to Needful Things again. I'm working on my hat. I'm sure you're probably working on your hat. So I'm on my last row of my slip stitch purls. And this stitch, as you know, if you've learned it from my video, has a lot of give to it, or stretch if you will. So I didn't need to make this one as wide as I normally would if I had a tighter weave stitch pattern, you know, that didn't give very much. So it took less. I'm really shocked at how, you know, the amount of yarn it used. It uses very little yarn, even if you have a big old fat head. That's a joke. Don't send me nasty emails, because I won't read them. I only read nice emails. Just kidding. Yeah, so I'm on my last row of my slip stitch purls. My new stitch. If you need more help with the stitch, just go look at the video that I did for you on how to do the stitch. I think if I recall, I did show it a little bit in the beginning of this video. This is a really easy hat too, and you can make these really quickly. They make great stocking stuffers too, and you can make them so quickly. You can do them in different colors for, you know, different people. Stuff them in their stockings when they're not looking. Okay, so I'm on the end, and I'm going to cut. I'm going to pull out like a yarn, a piece of yarn, because we're going to use it to sew up the side. And I can overestimate, I don't care if it's too much. I'd rather have that than not enough. Just pull it through, secure it there. Okay, so here we are. Let's measure it and see how wide it is. Okay. So it's about 14, almost 15. It's right at 15 inches. But it will stretch all the way up to a big old fat head. So for me that works, because even though I do have a big old fat head, this stretches really well. Because see, it stretches really well that way and a little bit that way, but a lot that way. So, okay. So now we've cut the yarn at the bottom and left us a piece for our sewing. This is stitch number 10. I'm going to take another stitch marker and put in stitch number 10 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I believe it's right here. As best I can tell. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to be as perfect as I can be. Okay, so now I have my darning needle. I'm going to cut another piece of yarn because if you've done one of these patterns before, we're going to run a yarn through here. So the right side of my work is this. Whoops. This is the right side for me. This is the right side of the work. So we're on the right side of the work. And I'm going to take a piece of yarn. I have extra there too. I don't care if I'm wasting. I probably am. That's okay. I'd rather have enough than to run out in the middle of this. You know what I mean? So we're just going to thread our needle. And put it in the very first stitch. And don't pull it all the way through. Okay? And now we're just going to feed it through the top of the stitches. This is the right side, so we're just putting this in here for now. We're not going to do anything with it yet. And we're just going to work through the top of the stitches. I mean, if you have to, you can just go, you know, you can do up and down if that works better for you. You're not in a race, doesn't matter how fast you do it. Just make sure you don't pull, leave that you have that tail there and you're not pulling it out. Because this is going to be our gathering string, as you know. Okay, so we're just going to leave that for now. We have our 2 strings on the end. We're going to leave that for now. Now we're going to go back to where we cut our yarn on the side, and this is our front sides. So we're going to put our front sides together. Make sure you don't sew those strings in. And we're just going to sew right up the side with the piece we left on the bottom. That I'm sure I left too long, but I like things to be enough. So we're just going to pull that through. The right sides together, go right in that very end there. And just start sewing it up the side. Try to match your stitches as best you can, but it's a hat, it won't be that noticeable. Just you've got to make sure you match up when you get here. So, you know, look at your stitches, pay attention. They should match pretty well. And I'm just going to make sure I go through both of them just so I get a good hold. If you have a better way you like to do it, then you do it your way. You don't have to pull it tight. It's not spandex. We're just sewing it up. There's something so peaceful to me about sewing. I don't know what it is. I don't hate it at all. It's very relaxing. And make sure you check that your 10 stitches are in the same place and you got the right amount of space on your both pieces. Make sure you don't sew up your strings because we're going to need to pull those in just a minute. Okay, so we know we have 10 stitches. And there's the first one. I'm going to go through that one and then go through this one. Take all the markers out. I keep saying don't sew up your stitches. Don't sew up your stitches. There are those two long pieces because we're going to need them. Now we're going to go into these last two stitches here, but don't pull that tight, just leave it loose. Just pull it and leave it loose like that because we need to pull these two strings. Now just pull these strings really tight. I mean, don't pull them so tight that, you know, you break them or something, but let's get that out of the way. And then I'm just going to tie a little knot while I'm holding on to that really tightly. And just tie it as tight as you can. And then pull that needle tight there. And just put that there for a second. Now we've got these to pull a little bit tighter. Don't break them, but tie them as tight as you can. We're inside the hat at the moment. Just gonna leave those there. And just run through here. Whoops. And just secure this a little better. Because I have that 42 miles of thread that I had in the beginning. I'm just gonna sew into there just a little bit. I don't need to because you pulled the string tight enough, but just because I have all this thread, I don't want to waste it. And then I'm just gonna knot it. And I'll leave a piece inside in case I put a pom-pom on here or something. Take away my stitch markers, cut this one a little bit. This is inside the hat. So now we just pull it down and work this out so it looks nice at the top. Nice little top section there. And then we pull it up. And you have a wonderful hat. Isn't that cute? That's the cutest little hat. And it has such great stretch to it, you know? So you can see it a little better. And I guess you could reverse it because it looks similar inside. But I do like this side a little bit better. And there's the top. And it has really good stretch, you see. So it'll fit your head. If you used to make them a little bit smaller, a little bit larger, because like this one was like 14 inches when I usually do them 18 inches. But this one has quite a bit of stretch. Okay, so enjoy.